Hey everyone, my name is Jack. Welcome back to the channel. I cover a variety of topics as they relate to real estate, investing, the markets, and pretty much everything as it has to do with personal finance. So if you like that sort of content, be sure to have a look around the channel. And if you like what you see, be sure to subscribe. But today I want to talk about a very simple yet a very underutilized tool that can help you to protect your financial status and your credit specifically. And that's freezing your credit. Now I'll talk about what a credit freeze is in much greater detail in just a moment, as well as how you can actually go about doing a credit freeze yourself. But first, I want to talk about the importance of actually protecting your credit in the first place. For those of you who don't know, there are three main credit rating agencies that take care of your credit score, and they each use some sort of formula to figure out what exactly your credit worthiness is based on a number of factors. The three big ones are Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. These three rating agencies keep tabs on every single social security number out there pretty much to figure out what exactly their credit worthiness is and assigns each account a score and then keeps track of all of their credit history. So now when you go ahead and go to a bank and ask for an auto loan, ask for a mortgage, ask for whatever it happens to be that needs to pull your credit, that bank or lender or whoever it is can then go to one of the credit rating agencies and then ask for your credit report. Sometimes creditors will look at all three of the rating agencies' reports that they have on you. Sometimes they'll look at one or just two. So it totally depends on who that person is and who they're actually looking at. And it also depends on what loan product or why they need your credit score in the first place. It totally depends on all those circumstances. But the point is, you want to make sure that these three rating agencies are taking care of your credit properly and they aren't misreporting anything. Because far too often mistakes are made on people's credit reports because it's only a human process after all. So if someone has the same name as you and maybe misprints their social security number or it somehow gets mixed up within the system, all of a sudden you might have their credit on your credit report because of some loan that they took out and there's a typo on it or whatever it happens to be. But the point is that's not your credit, yet it's on your credit report and it might be affecting it pretty negatively. And if it's affecting it positively, well, you could run with it, but that would probably be pretty fraudulent if you knew about it. Now you're going to have to get that corrected. You're going to have to go back and forth with Equifax, TransUnion, Experian, whoever it happens to be. And that's a hassle because it's not a mistake that you made. Someone else has their credit on your report, or even worse yet, someone might have stolen your identity, has your social security number, has your name, address, and opens up new credit in your name and then takes advantage of that for some sort of other illegal scheme. They walk away with some financial reward most likely, and then you're stuck with this negative credit history that's not actually your own history. And if you're gearing up to buy real estate using a mortgage in your own name, this is a very big deal since now your credit score is going to be negatively affected by credit that's not actually yours. So it can really throw a wrench into things, and it might take a while to actually get this credit report corrected. Now, it's not that you can't get it corrected, but it's a hassle, and it's actually very avoidable thanks to this neat trick. And it really shouldn't be a trick since I think this should be the default for every single credit account out there, but I rest my case. This is using a credit freeze. This is where you go to each of the three credit rating agencies and tell them that you want to freeze your credit so that no one can open up any new credit on your accounts using your social security number. So this means that if someone steals your social security number and tries to open up a credit card or something like that to take advantage of your great credit score, they're not going to be able to do it since they can't open up a new account. The bank, when it goes to take a look at your credit, is going to see that it's frozen and they're going to cancel the transaction or will ask for more information and ask you to unfreeze your credit. Well, the person who stole your identity probably isn't going to be able to unfreeze that credit unless they know your password and all this other stuff to actually go through and unfreeze it. So it's a great first line of defense to stopping things like identity theft that will actually affect your credit. Now, I shouldn't say it'll stop identity theft, but it can stop some of the very harmful effects of identity theft, at least when it comes to your credit. And setting up credit freezes is free to do, and you can undo them whenever you want. You just have to do it yourself. So it gives you a lot more control over your credit as opposed to letting someone run rampant with it when they have your social security number and other necessary information to open up financial accounts in your name. And it stops a lot of those mistakes that I mentioned earlier ahead of time, because now when someone attempts to make a mistake and it would have affected your credit, they're going to see that it's frozen, so they won't be able to go through with adding that credit account onto your report. Now, an existing lender is still going to be able to see your account information despite a credit freeze, so it's not as though it's going to block everyone off from your credit report since they're already in your credit report, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense to block them off from that if they have to keep tabs on your credit score depending on the type of loan it is. And this wouldn't stop a criminal from taking your credit card that you already have open and using it if they find it. It's not like it's that powerful of a freeze. It just stops new credit from being opened up using your credit report. So to reiterate, in order to actually open up new credit on your account, you're going to need to unfreeze your credit first. So you're going to have that final authorization basically to actually open up new credit, which makes it a great tool for preventing against the damage caused by identity theft. So how do you actually go about freezing your credit? Thankfully, it's actually a very simple process. For a while, I had neglected to actually freeze my credit since I thought it was going to be a hassle. There'd be some back and forth. But actually, all you do is go to the 3 credit rating agencies' websites and you can quickly request it right there. They'll require you to set up some password or PIN that you'll have to remember, obviously, if you're going to try and unfreeze it later. But that's pretty much all there is to it. You go to the rating agencies' websites, you request the freeze, you set up your PIN or password, you remember that PIN or password and keep it somewhere, preferably not on your computer or really anywhere that can be stolen. And then when you want to actually unfreeze your credit, you just go right back onto their website, log in, use your PIN and password, and unfreeze your credit. And if you want to take out a new loan, you can actually ask the creditor what reports they're going to be pulling, since not every creditor pulls all 3 reports like I mentioned earlier. So then you can just go to the 1 or 2 credit reports that they need to see and unfreeze those, and then you can leave the other one frozen for maximum security. Then once you open up your new account, you're all set. You can go right back and refreeze your credit to add that extra level of security. It took me just a few minutes per credit rating agency to actually freeze my credit. So in all, it took me less than 15 minutes to actually set up every single freeze. So it's very quick and totally worth it, since it's at least one extra level of security to prevent your credit from being ruined by someone who is not you. Now, if you want to learn how to not ruin your own credit with your own efforts, you can take a look at some of my other content that I have on your credit score and what actually goes into it, so you know how you can actually improve it so that you can start using credit as a tool to invest or make your personal finances that much stronger. But all I can say is I really hope everyone takes advantage of freezing your credit. It cannot hurt you unless you forget about it and you go to apply for credit and they say, hey, we can't see your credit, so now you got to open it up, and it might pause some things and then you have to go back and forth with the lender. But I'd rather deal with that back and forth as opposed to going to the credit rating agency and trying to erase credit history from someone who accidentally put it onto my credit report or who actually did it with bad intentions and trying to steal my identity. That would be terrible, and that is a hassle, and you never know when that's going to happen. Conversely, when you use a credit freeze, you know when your credit's frozen, and then you can unfreeze it yourself. It gives you some more control over the process as opposed to not using freezes at all. So anyways, that's all I've got for today. I hope this helped you to learn about the value of freezing your credit and how it's actually very easy to do. I'll include links to the 3 credit rating agencies in the description below. I don't know if their links change very often, so I'll just include it to the help page, and hopefully that can lead you to where you need to go. Otherwise, you can just Google the agency name and then credit freeze, and it's very simple. That's what I did when I actually went to freeze my credit. Otherwise, if you like this video, please like it since it helps the channel out a lot. And if you like this sort of content about personal finance, investing, real estate, and a bunch of other things, definitely subscribe so you don't miss any new updates since I post new videos every single week. And check out my book, The One Property Retirement, about a simple strategy for building your retirement nest egg using real estate. It's really great for beginners, and it talks a lot about credit in there as well. So if you want to learn more about taking steps to improve your credit, it's a great resource for that. And if you end up buying and reading the book, definitely leave a review on Amazon since that would help me out a lot. But until next time, take care.